Hi, welcome. I just noticed I forgot to set up my little chair that I have that's just basically a stiff cardboard box and a pillow. That's the life of living in this kind of temporary dwelling setup. So I just wanted to come on and do our full moon and Cancer reading coming up. There's a lot of emotion in the air, and I felt kind of inspired to do a reading about what we should know and what we should think about regarding our relationships with our closest people in our lives, our circle. What's this full moon going to be either revealing to us or showing to us about our relationships? And if you're anything like me, my life has been going through a complete upheaval of relationship changes, and it's been really intense and scary at times, but I'm trying to power through and see it through because I know the changes I'm making are ultimately going to benefit me and really benefit everyone involved. You know, we don't need to have cords of attachment to relationships that have passed their time, and that goes for me as well as the other parties in the relationship. And there's sometimes a desire to hang on, maybe through fear reasons or through a desire to not lose someone, but really it's better for you to part ways or whatever. So this is Stevie. I just wanted to honor him. I haven't brought him in a while. He's my little green cheek conure. He's a little pistol, and I love him, and he's been one of my most cherished relationships in my life, and I hope to have many more years with him. They can live anywhere from 20 to 40 years, and he's already, I think, going on 13 at this point. But he's a little guy, and there's a lot of hazards to him in the world, so sometimes I get obsessed with his safety and protection because I worry, you know, about all the hazards that are out there that can cause problems for him. So in fact, when I first moved out to this land and we didn't have any power or running water or anything, there was a winter storm right when we moved here, and a big PTSD fear that got activated for me was that he was not going to make it, even though that wasn't necessarily a realistic fear. I had a lot of terror come up in my system. So this might be a time like that where this full moon in Cancer is going to be revealing some things that it's time for us to let go of. And that was something for me I had to really think through and try to let go of the fear that he was going to somehow freeze to death or whatever, when really that wasn't necessarily a risk. But the fear was intense at that time. Yeah, that's right. I was worried. I was freaked out about whether you could handle those cold winters when we didn't have reliable heat. Yeah, that's not the same anymore. But now there's other hazards around, like bird flu and stuff, that I have to be really vigilant about, because I live out on land with a lot of birds, and what if I carry in, you know, that kind of thing. And there he went, just pooped. Give me 1 second. He just pooped. I want to clean that up real quick. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started on this relationships reading. It doesn't have to be love relationships, but a love relationship could come out. And also, I wear a lot of beautiful earrings on here that are the beadwork of a dear friend and sister, Lana Jack. These are her earrings that she made, and I just want to honor her work because she does incredible beadwork, and she's also a wonderful friend and sister. We've known each other going on about the same time now. I think it's like 10 years, and she lives a couple hours away upriver from me, so sometimes I don't see her as often as I would like, but I just wanted to give her shouts out to her and to all the people in Celilo, and also to all the people in LA and the firefighters that are doing that brave work. What's something we should know about our relationships as we go through the full moon in Cancer? What's something that we should know for this collective? So, the medicine of laughter, first and foremost, is going to be important, and laughter is one of the best medicines there is. So it's going to be important to keep your sense of humor through these changes. It's also going to be important that you clear the energy, whether that's by cutting cords with relationships that no longer serve you, or by smudging in your home to just cleanse out anything uncertain within you, or fear or stagnant energy in your home. Earlier this morning, I opened up my door and my window, tried to let it just air out and get some fresh air blowing through here, even though it's cold. And then finally, you hold the power, so don't forget to wield your power with ethics and from your heart. Those cards are from my deck, the Thimbleberry deck that I designed. I'll have a few of them available for sale at the Gulf Coast Social Work Conference I'm attending this year. Otherwise, though, I have to get more made because I had the bulk of them stolen out of my car a little over a year ago. So hopefully the folks out there that stole them had some fun sharing them around. Oh, that's not the deck I wanted to use, actually. It's this deck. So what's going to be important to know? We hold the power in the situation, so it's important that we remember to be ethical and operate from the heart. Cleanse our energy of any uncertainty or fear or angst or anguish, right? And also another good way to do that is just through laughing and having the medicine of laughter on board and being with people that make you laugh, watching things that make you laugh, right? Limiting your exposure to everything that's chaotic in the world right now. It's okay to stay informed, but maybe limiting your exposure to it so it doesn't bring you down so much, because there's only so much of that we can control, right? And then it just becomes crazy making if you get obsessed with this news cycle, right? So what should we know? Thank you for being here and for liking and subscribing. And believe it or not, even just one share and one comment can like double the views on my channel. So, anything like that is very appreciated. So that's interesting. We've got 2 4s here, right next to one another. Yeah. And 2 8s. Wow, really interesting. 2 4s and 2 8s, I noticed right off the back. The Chariot card and the Hermit card. So there's going to be a lot of change, a lot of fast-moving change for us through this full moon, and it's important that we go within. That's what's striking me right away, is in the Facts position is the Hermit card. So as you go through all this fast-moving change, and there's a lot of faded, dual, intense destiny. I don't see any cup cards here, so that's important to know. Love is not the dominant energy in this layout for this collective, for this full moon in Cancer. It's actually the realm of the material, of fire, are the dominant energies here. So in the cornerstone is the 3 of Cups. Oh wow, I thought this was Pentacles, but it's actually the 3 of Cups. So there, I spoke too soon. There is a cup card here, and it's in the cornerstone. So this is what's coming into play for us, is the realm of the heart and relationships. Who are the relationships that are close to the heart? Closer to the Heart by Rush just came through. That might just be a coincidence because I used that terminology, but it's a song about power. And the men who hold high places must be the ones who start to mold a new reality closer to the heart, right? So that's straight up power in play. And that's the cornerstone, is the 3 of Cups. Who are we going to be working with in the realm of our heart, and where are we going to be walking away? So the 5 of Pentacles speaks to that. It's a little bit of an anxiety possibly about fear of being left out, or are we going to be invited into the warm heart center of others' lives? Are we going to feel included, or are we going to feel left behind? There's a desire here to feel included as a lot of energy and information starts coming at us, or communication that we're doing back and forth. We have to be aware that there's a vulnerability to anxiety in the realm of the material, and that could speak to fears of abandonment, It can speak to fears of exclusion, especially with this 3 energy here. A 3 and a triangle in relationships can feel very tense. They feel very tense to me. In fact, that's been some of my soul's growth, is learning how to deal with triangulation in relationships. So that might be true for you as well, because it can create a sense of one person's being left out, or you are on the odd part out of this world that's going to carry forward without you. I've had some anxiety about that here too, because I'm leaving where I live. And there are people living here now for free that are helping out on the land and restoring this land to health. But it's time for me to go. It's hard to be here though, because it's sad. I once had a lot of dreams about this place that I thought I would be seeing through late into my life, and that's not the case. So I've had to really go within and think long and hard about it. And sometimes I feel sad when I watch them making plans. I feel sad about the fact that I've had to make this choice to walk away. It comes with anxiety at times and a feeling of being left out. So I go within and try to follow my own inner light and know that my community is coming. My home and my stability and my heart-based community is coming for me. It's just not here. Right now it might be walking the path alone. And my nephew, what was one of his favorite songs, the Green Day song, I Walk Alone, right? He struggled with those feelings at times of feeling isolated or abandoned or left out. Even when he was surrounded by loved ones, it was an inner loneliness that he had, and he really loved that song. So that's kind of the foundation, is reassessment, wondering, where do I feel included? Where do I feel excluded? Where do I fit? And your answers lie within. Those are the facts. They lie inside you. That's how you'll know, by following your own inner light and not succumbing to these kinds of fears in the material. They're not relevant fears, right? But if you don't attend to them and help get a handle on them, they can take over and become what you create, right? So you got to watch out for that. Your vulnerability here and for us is that we're tired. We feel like we've been at this work for a long time of trying to decide about our future and our relationships. The Knight of Pentacles can feel very fatiguing. He's slow moving. He's not a speedy character, but he's doing the deliberate slow work that's essential for healing, right? There's no shortcuts in Dark Nights of the Soul. There's no shortcuts in doing shadow work, especially if you come from a history of trauma or ancestral trauma, right? You can sometimes feel like the healing can just never, when is it ever going to end? That's what I kind of feel like is in our vulnerability position here. What's so beautiful to know and what's essential to understand is that this is coming to a completion. This card is a card of completion, the Four of Wands. Right next to the Four of Pentacles, the completion is coming into being. It's coming into the material world. So now is the time to protect yourself, but don't close off. That's the warning of the Four of Pentacles. You don't want to close off entirely, but you want to, in fact, Tyre came up about the Four of Pentacles in another reading. So, and now we have the Chariot card. So this might involve going on visits, going to visit people. That's in my future. So there's maybe a message here for me also. Going to visit people might be helpful to helping you reduce any sense of anxiety about being left out or isolation. It's that feeling and those fears are coming to a completion. I just really feel like this collective needs to hear that, because we're tired, because it's been a lonely journey at times, but things are going to be moving very quickly through this full moon. That's really indicated here is a major shift towards speed. What's interesting is that in the outcome is the Eight of Swords. So I don't think it's the entrapment that can come with the Eight of Swords. I think it might be, I don't know. I'm just going to get some clarifiers with that, because we're not trapped. Everything in this laid out and in these first 3 cards indicate that we're not trapped. It might be a feeling of it not happening as fast as we want it to, though. That could be, but yeah, because the devil on our shoulder wants us to go, go, go. They want chariot-like energy. But the angel on our shoulder is saying this is a young endeavor. This is new, and we're potentially going to be a little bit vulnerable to naivety in the heart. So that's why it's so important to listen to our inner light right now and not rush things. This is coming to a natural completion with the aid of something greater than ourselves. including the source light that's within all of us. This is probably most likely a spiritual community. And even if you're not a spiritual person, the light within your life force, your vital life force, is what's beautiful and pure in the situation and important to listen to. The devil might on your shoulder might want fast results now. And this is saying it's not so fast. You know, we have to kind of move with caution and with discernment through this time, because we're in a young, little bit vulnerable page-like energy. So I'm going to get a little bit of clarity. That could be why we're vulnerable to falling into a trap of repeating an old cycle if we try to rush things. I think that's what that's saying, but let me just see here. That might just be a warning. It doesn't mean that it's a certain outcome. A pip card in the outcome, or I'm sorry, a lower, I never remember what pip means, if it means just the numeric numbers of tarot. I think so, but it means that it's movable. You can shift the energy if you're uneasy about being entrapped in another karmic cycle. Not to worry, because you have the discernment of your inner light, and you know that this is coming to a completion, and you know that you've done the work. You know that you've done the work to grow and to heal and evolve. What about this Eight of Swords here? Yeah, there's going to be a period that is spiritual stillness for you, while these sorts of karmic relationships that are maybe relationships that you're vulnerable to repeating cycles and repeating patterns, either of addiction or codependency. There's a vulnerability there. That's why you're being asked to go within. Don't forget to cleanse your energy. It's not going to happen quickly. You want it to happen quickly, but this is a saying, it's a cautioning you not to rush any of this. You can't rush any of this. Turn it over to something greater, to the lunar energy that's going to cleanse a lot of the deception and illusion away. You can't rush it. It's not on your timeline. You may have wanted this to come through and be done yesterday. That's where I'm at. Where I'm at is overdue. I feel beyond ready to have this chapter closed. But I can't rush it. It's not smart to rush it because I'm uncomfortable, because I could do harm to the other people involved, to me, by getting a bad deal or something, because I'm just so eager to rush things that I don't pay attention to the fine print. Something like that. You've really got to watch out. The stillness and the slow pace is spiritually imposed. It is the bigger energy. It's not going to trap you if you continue to do the work and practice patience. You're not going to be trapped. But there's a vulnerability to further entrapment if you rush it. That's the energy. The way to cope through the stillness or slow moving time while the lunar energy does its work to clear out what's no longer serving you is to remember to laugh, keep your sense of humor. Remember that you do hold power. You want to maintain the ethics of your character, right? Character is super important here. You need to maintain your character because there's this devil energy present, and the stillness is really forcing you to look at that. Codependency, karmic cycles, relationships that no longer serve you. You know, what if you've done this rodeo 5 times with this person, yet here they come again with their apology and a promise to do better? Are you going to go through that cycle again? You don't have to. If you slow down, if you listen to what's happening within, if you allow things to unfold in natural divine timing with this hanged one energy, it's not going to be a cycle you have to repeat, but you have to slow down. That's coming through really strongly. It's not on your timeline. As frustrating as that sounds, I am beyond sick of being patient. I just have to say it. But I don't have a choice, right? I need to be patient. I do. I mean, I could rush all this and then find myself stuck in another karmic loop. The eight karmic loop here of the 8 of Swords that you don't want to repeat. You really don't want to repeat it, but you're vulnerable to repeating it if you rush it. That's coming through really strongly. What else for us to know? Because it's coming to a completion. That's really important to know. Protect yourself. Protect your peace. Protect the spiritual guidance that you're receiving by going within and listening to something greater than yourself. Wanting to rush things is not the way right now. Like I said, I really want to go visit a friend, but I also notice that I have some anxiety around it, so I'm just trying to go within and listen. Maybe I don't want to get on the road right now because I have another trip coming up just beyond the immediate future, and I don't want to be traveling too much. It's too fatiguing for me anymore. So that might mean even though I want to see my friend, I'm going to wait until after I get back from my trip, right? Something like that. You don't want to rush and ignore your intuition or ignore the red flags. You can't do that if you want to avoid the karmic loop. If you get back in the karmic loop, it's okay. It just means another go around, right? But I sense that you want to avoid it, and so do I. I'd rather do it right the first time and go a little slower than rush things and have to repeat. That's just me. What else for us to know about these relationships? Yeah, this is a really important, this is exactly what we're saying. Not everything is going to be as it appears. That's why it's all the more important that you go within. There's fates at work while you're being reborn and going through this regenerative process of the Hanged One. If you listen to the spiritual guidance that you're receiving, which is to be still, go within, be patient, allow things to unfold in divine timing or the timing of nature, right? This is how you avoid it, and this is the way. If you refuse to do that and try to power through with this chariot energy, you're going to get caught in this cycle again of addiction or of past dilemmas, right? I'm going to read Colette Baron Reed's card here, cards with the fates. So the first card is the fates in the upright position. It's card 17. And it's interesting because we've got 16 and 17 here in a sequence, right? So the fates in terms of relationships. Other people are who they are. You can't change them. The challenge is to accept them as they are and not try to make them otherwise to suit you. This is a time to look at how you attempt to mold people to fit your view of how they should be so that you can remain in the relationship and avoid discomfort. Boom, this is everything we're saying. What if who they are and whatever is happening between you and them in this situation is perfect from the perspective of spirit? Now is the time to accept what you cannot change, even if it means that you honor yourself, spirit, and the other person by moving on. Love unconditionally. Stay connected to the heart, for each of us is on our own journey and we cannot direct that of another. Be aware that this relationship or relationships is indeed fated and you are meant to evolve into a better version of yourself as a result. So this is very accurate and fitting for me, and I'm sure for whoever else is going to be reading this. I was in denial for a while about the need to change in my life, and my fate, my destiny, my Ori came in and said, it is time for you to go, and you're gonna have to do this whole song and dance again unless you listen to a higher wisdom right now. And so I did, and spirit has been like holding my hand through it because it's been a scary change for me, right? But I'm doing it, I'm listening, I'm trying to be. This is a word that a lot of Americans struggle with, and it's obedience. And it's hard to be obedient to something greater or to character that says don't act in accordance with how these other people are acting. You want to be in tune with your own character and your own ethics. That's a hard road to take sometimes. It's often a lonely road. It's a road that I kind of got called onto, and I've always been an ethical person, but I have my vices and temptations of just wanting to see the best in people and hanging on too long when I've recognized that our fates are just not intertwined anymore. The relationship is over, the cord needs to be cut, and I need to move on, and so do they, as much for their benefit as my own, right? It's just time. But it's been hard. I'm someone who had a lot of loss in early life. My mother died in my infancy, and my dad died in my very early 20s. So I have anxiety around letting relationships go because I've lost so much in my family, right? But hanging on to the wrong relationship isn't healing, right? Recognizing when a relationship's end has come is healthy and helps you become whole. And it also doesn't keep somebody else stuck in your cycle because you don't know what you want, and so you're confused and sending mixed signals, right? That's not fair to the other person either. Even if it's not what the other person wants to hear, it's often better for both parties if you're honest, face the facts, cut the cord, move forward, rip off the emotional band-aid, right? I don't know. Card 46 in the reverse. This is a period of regeneration, right? Endings come in many forms, and now is the time to stop holding on to what must die so that something better can take its place. Nature's cycles include disease, decay, death, and regeneration. Let whatever isn't working in your life die. Don't be afraid to face the facts. There is no need to struggle or grieve. Whatever your query, let it go. You're about to be reborn. It's just so in keeping. And then all that glitters, we know that all that glitters isn't gold. We need to have the discernment. This at one time was a sparkly, amazing package of everything I thought I wanted, but now my things have shifted. Time has shifted. My life has shifted. My own growth has shifted or whatever. And it's not for me anymore. Let's see, what else can I pull here? I'm kind of feeling like I wanted, I'll do some playing cards actually. What else should you know? Any specifics to help you know anything about this? We did have a Queen of Pentacles show up, so that can be maybe like a maternal figure that there's tense relationship with, but it doesn't have to be. It could also be a Virgo, or it could be just a feminine energy in your life that comes to mind when you're hearing this reading, because it came out not relative to us, but relative to another party, a Queen of Pentacles. So that's an earth sign, or it can also represent like a mother figure. It might be sorrow around motherhood for you. Of varying degrees, right? That's one of the most primal relationships we have, is our relationship with our mother. So you can imagine my loss when she died in my infancy, right? Like, that's a huge loss. That's hard to get across to people how deeply it affected me. But if you've lost a parent in childhood, you know there's an unspoken understanding that you don't even have to explain with other people, right? Who've lost a parent. Yeah, my God, a 4 again. 4 of Wands at the very center. So, or no, wait a minute. Is Spades. 4 of Diamonds is Pentacles. Yeah, it's a 4. So we've got 4, 4, 4, you know. Okay, yeah, it's the 4 of Swords. So we need to use our discernment and stillness and wisdom of the mind around this completion process and around what we're bringing into the material. And a Queen of Wands is coming out now. So this could be you or another. It's around feminine energy. It looks like it's coming through for us, that feminine energy is in play here. And the lunar cycle, the moon is considered feminine relative to the sun. So this full moon in Cancer may be greatly impacting for us in this collective our relationships to the feminine. And the King of Swords, so that's kind of that wise, discerning, adjudicating archetype within us. The King of Swords that understands what is in play on a very, very cerebral level. They're very wise kings. They're very discerning. They're very decisive. They're often considered like a judge, right? Or someone with power and authority. And that's us internally. That's the kind of energy we need about these relationships to the feminine, whether that's within us or the feminine relationships in our lives, because this is a relationship reading. Relationships of masculine and feminine are highlighted here with this King and Queen. Standing our ground with the 7 of Wands here. Standing our ground is going to be important, and drawing boundaries, having wise discernment. This King of Swords energy with us is going to help with that, right? It's going to help us to make those choices and to understand what's beyond the glitter, right? What's underneath this glittery surface? Is it really what it appears to be? Yeah. And a Two of Swords, it's again an echo of the Four of Swords. So we're really asked to be still through this full moon in Cancer and go within and pay attention. You might be shown some things in dreams because the lunar energy can impact the dreamscape. You might be given some guidance in your dream space. It's important to remember to keep your sense of humor. This can get really heavy feeling if you don't remember levity and the importance of levity in healing and in the healing journey. So remember to lighten up and not take it all so seriously. But that doesn't mean rush. It just means be able to laugh, be able to recognize the discomfort as temporary, right? What's an animal energy that can help? What kind of animal might we emulate that can help us through this lunar cycle and stillness? 444, so we have spiritual support with us, right? With those 3 4s present. The card that's missing is the Four of Cups, which is a card of stagnancy. So we're not going to be stagnant much longer. There's going to be a lot of fast-moving things, and we're going to be tempted to just follow whatever in the moment. It's saying we can take our time, be discerning. You know, we don't have to get carried away with the quick energy coming at us. We can use the time to go within and meditate and maybe ask for guidance in the dream space about choices. Toad, yeah, divination and witching work is going to be helpful. Transcendence, renewal, disguise, detox, abundance, prosperity, communication, and realism. This is so encapsulating of this. It's really amazing energy to emulate. Hecate is coming through also. Frogs can often have a connection to her, and she's the precursor to Hecate. It's thought she's an Egyptian goddess, one of the originals, one of the original deities in Egypt. And I have a scrying session from the Obsidian Mirror podcast that talks about Hecate, and it's in the thumbnail. Her name is written. So if you're curious about that, and maybe there's a message in that scrying session, it's on the Obsidian Mirror podcast playlist from back a ways. During the summer or late spring, I think, is when it was of last year. This is a time of transcendence and renewal. It's a time to lay low, detox, and I'll know that this is coming to a completion and your abundance is coming. Don't get trapped in discomfort, this is so uncomfortable, I just want to go get high or whatever, right? It's okay. Just deal with the discomfort. It's not forever. Panther, so awesome. Big cats have been coming up so much for me lately, and I'm very grateful. They're incredibly protective spirits, right? Regeneration, again, renewal, regeneration, shadow, intensity, adventure, enlightenment, truth, stealth, silence, originality. These are perfect energies to be emulating. A panther is very reclusive. They're not loud. They're loud when they need to be, but they're very selective about how they expend their energy. And otherwise, they're really reclusive, right? They don't seek out a lot of, they know how to conserve their energy. They know how to wait for conditions to change. They know how to, they know their strengths and weaknesses, right? Our weakness right now is a desire to race forward. We're tired of this process, and it's saying just a little bit longer. Just hold on. Regenerate, renew, finish up your shadow work, go within, lay low through the full moon. A lot's going to be revealed is the sense I have as the full moon clears stuff away. There's going to be some revelation that comes. What else for us to know about this energy of the full moon in Cancer? The bobcat and blackthorn. So I'm not even going to, I don't need to read the description, because blackthorn is one of the most powerful plants, shrubs, trees in the world. It is incredibly protective. It's very, very powerful as a protector. I have sloe berries in here as protectors and some blackthorn in my home that protects my home, right? And bobcat, again, like panther, is a still reclusive cat. They're not showy. They're not out there, you know, mouthing off and being show-offs, right? They're very still. Like lynx and bobcat, they know how to be still. They know how to blend in. They know how to hide, right? What else? The chipmunk and laurel. This strikes to me of, laurel is a masculine plant, and it strikes me as kind of an echo of the King of Swords energy that came through. Laurel is associated with the Romans. They particularly really valued laurel and laurel tree and laurel leaves, and they were considered very regal emperor, like Julius Caesar type energy. That's like the second time I've had Julius Caesar come to mind. You need to be in that kind of energy. Like Julius Caesar, for better or worse, whether you believe in top-down leadership, was an incredibly powerful, smart ruler. He had blind spots, though, which were his downfall. But he was, I mean, we still talk about him to this day. It's a testament to what an incredible mind he was, right? And with this chipmunk, this strikes me as that maintain your humor, maintain some levity. And chipmunks are very savvy little creatures, just like squirrels. They're in and out. They're quick. They're speedy. They have a zest for life, right? They're going to bring the zing that's needed as you get through this kind of heavy, intense time where maybe a lot's going to be revealed. So I'll pull, what's just a good card for us too, again, to wrap it up with tarot from... What's a good card to represent us from tarot that's going to be a wise energy to embody through the full moon in Cancer? Again, the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So my sense is that there's going to be a lot of shifting feeling. Like, whereas we might have been felt like nothing's changing, everything's going so slow, blah, like we're frustrated with that. There's going to be some quick change coming in. But we're being cautioned not to get carried away with it. That's what I'm really feeling with these Eight of Wands, because we can step right into another trap. This is coming to a completion. Just hold on. Stay low key, very low key, like this bobcat said, right? Stay low key, but keep your sense of humor. It's okay. Like my little bird. My little bird is a constant. He's fierce, but he's funny. You know, he knows how to manage that kind of energy. Two of Pentacles. So it's being in stillness, allowing the Two of Swords and the Four of Swords and this Two of Pentacles while we make a choice. We've got a choice to make. Allow the stillness. That's what we need to, that's the energy we need to be in, and recognize we're not in control. We're in pip energy maybe through this energy, through this full moon. So just kind of stay humble, stay low key. Don't make a big splash right now. Don't go chasing after something that comes in real glittery and fiery. Use your discernment. Go within. You don't want to repeat a cycle, right? So, I mean, there's all kinds of ways. You know your life. You'll know how that applies to you. I don't think I keep saying I'm not going to pull any more cards, but I keep wanting to go because doing this reading is fun and it feels good. I was in a little bit of a, just kind of sad, little melancholy, nothing severe, but now I'll do just maybe some scrying and see if any intuitive scrying images come up before I close it out. Yeah, our spine, right away I'm getting spine, spinal column, and rib cage. So the spinal column is our, our antennas, right? Their central nervous system is our antenna. So we need to be listening to the signals and the cues that are coming in fast and go within. Protect our heart. The rib cage protects those inner organs and stuff, right? That's coming through, right? I don't even have to go any further, just about. You can even do something like a seated meditation where you ask guidance to come in through your crown and move down your central channel, right? While you listen to the messages coming in. Take in the messages coming in through our central nervous system and be in stillness while we interpret them and sort them out and use our discernment of our inner King of Swords archetype. It's very King of Swords energy. It strikes me as very King of Swords. That's another thing, is that I wanted to, I have a friend who's doing amazing breath work. She's a breath work provider. And I wanted to do the breath work again this morning, but I just listened to my intuitive guidance when I woke up, which was like, you need to do some other things with your energy in your home this morning. So I'll touch base with her maybe next weekend. And in the meantime, I can offer her something in exchange, like if she would like a reading, because she offered to let me sit in on these breathwork sessions for free because of this kind of work. So maybe now what I'll do is reach out to her. Instead of having done the breathwork class today, I'll reach out and say, what can I do in return? Can I give you a one-on-one reading, right? Or something like that. So as sad as I was to feel like, is that wrong? Because it's healing. Breathwork is so healing, and shouldn't I be putting that first? But I had other things to sort through this morning that I felt like were more immediate that I needed to tend to right away. And so I'll catch, you know, she's not going anywhere. It wasn't like that was my last chance to do a breath work with her ever. I can do other forms of meditation and grounding and thank her and know that I can catch up with her next time. So I hope you'll catch up next time. I hope this is helpful. I know it's maybe not there's a lot of fast change coming. That's indicated. I guess what it's saying is don't get swept up in it, right? It's okay to know that fast change is coming. This is coming to a completion, but don't run away with yourself before you've got inner clarity. So I thank you so much. I will see you next time. And thank you for watching.